Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I am your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, we are here this week to review Damnation of Pythos by Dave Annadale. Maybe it's, Annadale. Sounds right?
Yeah.
Cool. Before we get too far into that, though, have a few things we've got to go over first. First things first is we are on YouTube. If you are just listening to us, hop on over there, hit us with a like, hit us with a subscribe. It probably helps us out. We honestly don't know.
Yeah.
It might get us like $1 one day.
One of these days.
Yeah, one of these years. It's coming. Also, you can go to our email if you feel like telling us anything. Go to there. It's theheresylodge@gmail.com. You can also go to our Twitter, which has our Discord pinned to the top, which is a lot of fun. Our listeners did a whole mock episode this last week.
Our Discord is very tame. People there are very respectful, very nice, courteous of people's feelings.
Yep, including ours.
They love to just fucking rail on us, man.
They do. We just go in there just to get our fucking dicks kicked in. I don't know.
It's kind of sad. Like,
I'm feeling good about myself today. Let's see what's on the Discord. Oh,
you
God.
guys are terrible. We came to this space just to tell you how bad your podcast is.
It's a good thing you guys can fucking talk in front of a camera for our entertainment. Yeah, you're welcome. I love getting my ass beat all the time.
Dylan, you need to be more vocal in our episodes.
I know. I just got to get my shit together, I guess. My bad. Anyway, get on that. Pin to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. We also have tips enabled if you feel like contributing at all to the podcast. This week has been an interesting one. It's actually Warhammer Fest. We are recording on Thursday. I think they showed like a new Dark Angel mini for Horus Heresy came out today. But yesterday had some cool reveals.
Well, real quick, before we get into that, what are you drinking today?
Oh, shit. That's the most important part of every episode.
Yeah.
So it's Cinco de Mayo, and I am not drinking a Mexican lager. I am drinking from Quaff On the Blood Orange Yellow Dwarf.
Great beer.
This is good. I'm a fan of it.
Beer. I am drinking a Corona Extra because it is Cinco de Mayo, and I am festive.
Normally I'm the festive one, but I already had Corona Premiere on the on whatever episode, so I couldn't do it.
This is nice because last Cinco de Mayo, I'm pretty sure I may have blacked out. I don't quite remember. So just a Corona will do it for me this year.
That's fair. Very festive.
The Warhammer Fest.
Yes.
What a series of announcements. Some good. There were no bad announcements.
Some was really fucking cool. Sorry, I have to fucking stop my dog, but I can hear you, and I will scream across the room if I have to.
Sure. So there were some things that I really didn't care for or care about, and I guess we can start with those. So first off, there is a new show on Warhammer Plus, Dylan.
Well, it's a prequel of a show that's on Warhammer Plus.
Oh my gosh. They made a prequel to a show that 36 people watch. Oh my gosh.
Yep. What's it called? Like Blood and Rain or some shit? I don't even know the name of it.
Angels of Blood or something.
Maybe.
It's a Blood Angels thing. So there's that. And let's combine this with some news. A new chapter approved is coming out. Pay us another $40 for a book that doesn't contain any of the rules. But guess what? I won't be
surprised if it's more than $40 because I think it's going to be hardback. I bet it's going to be a $50 book for the fucking missions. Not even the core rules. They took those out. It's just the missions.
It's going to be full of a bunch of stupid ass fluff too.
Yeah, because really, there's 7 pages.
And
if it's hardback, it's going to be, Codex size. So
it's just
why?
Majority of the book is just the hardback.
Yeah, I mean, at that point.
You open it up and there's like 3 pages you're flipping through. Oh my gosh, they better do. But hey, good news, Dylan. Would you be happy to know that the points are now free. So therefore it makes everything else okay.
You know,
Let me
that's the part that's even the fucking dumbest because like, oh, we're doing you a favor by not making the what do they call it, the Munitorium manual or something like that. We're doing you a big favor. Excuse me, I don't even care about that because guess what? Battlescribe does it for free.
It's free anyway. It was already free. You didn't even need that book unless you were putting together lists that were on paper. Let me kill like all their birds with one stone, okay?
Oh, I'm ready.
Put your rules on Warhammer Plus.
Easy.
I'd watch all your shit. I'd subscribe. I'd pay more money than what they're charging right now. I'd pay almost $10 a month, I would think, for all your rules, for animations, for battle reports. Sign me up. But
Yeah.
they won't do it. And what's crazy about this whole thing is you think about it too. It's like if I'm a Tau player, I'm gonna buy a book once a year.
Yep.
Or I could pay $10 a month and you're gonna get more money out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And what'll probably happen, and this is what's crazy, they can still sell their hardback books. Because I guarantee you, if you want to play Eldar because you're looking at the rules that you get for free and they look badass, you're going to buy a hard copy.
Yeah. I mean, especially with like especially like Eldar, because they have so many models and so many things, like you kind of want the book so you can actually look at everything.
I don't know a single person that plays Warhammer that wouldn't buy the book even if they had the rules for free. Because guess what? We actually do have the rules for free. You
Yeah,
can
there are
definitely get
ways
them
to
for
get
free.
them.
And most people who play competitively do get them there for free, but they still buy their hardback books in the armies they play. It's just absurdity. That's how I feel about it. Whatever. It's the one. It's the one of two things that I just absolutely despise about Games Workshop is the way they handle their rules and blech, blech.
Well, the
Anyway.
thing is, the the things with the chapter approved too is they're also changing the game, which I get that they want to make it less stale, but man, I think you said like you've had what, like 5 games under it.
I've had
10.
about 10. Yeah. 10 games under the last mission set.
Like it's not easy to like people aren't playing this game daily. It's not like League of Legends where if you're playing it like daily, they put out a new patch and change some things.
Yeah, but you don't have to pay for the patch.
Exactly. But like it's stupid that I don't know. You don't even like it just changes the game randomly and then it sucks for people that's like, "Oh, well, guess I got to buy another book so I can play like 2 games this season."
It's definitely one of those things too where I feel, especially post-COVID, I've just played less Warhammer. I played more competitive Warhammer, and it's something I want to get back into, but like with the podcast that we have, the reading we have to do, the painting we have to do for armies, it's like I have less time for my favorite part of this hobby. And
Yeah.
I feel like adding on to the fact that I now have to pay $100 every year for the rules to play, not even the rules for my army, like the rules to the game.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not a fan. So there's that. There's that rant. But we did get some more okay things. Some additional things we got. We got squats. What are your thoughts on squats?
So, I actually have none because they were they were here for what, like 3 editions and they were taken off.
Yeah. So
They look cool, I guess. They're just
look
like
all right.
dwarfs with do that fucking like power armor?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm
Sure.
not excited for them. You know what I mean? I'm just not like not
Yeah.
excited for them.
I don't have any like connection to them, so I don't care. Like I'm sure if someone played them back in like 2nd edition when they were there, they're like, "Holy fuck, I got my squats back that I paid $1,000 to put."
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool. I'm glad to do like this is not a bad thing. It's a great thing for the game. In the story. It's good overall. Then we got some Chaos Marine stuff. They released a few models, which are like
Cool.
cultist models. So they made new cultist models, and then the new Chaos Marine Codex is like the cultists go up. Like there's like
Yeah.
3 entries for cultists, and the higher they go as far as exalted level, the more fucked up they get. And oh my god, these models are just
They get fucked up. It's awesome.
they're disgusting. Like it's rough.
I like it.
Like
It's awesome.
I'm looking at these models, I'm like, I hope there are no kids around because they get like kind of fucked up looking at this.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of like how I imagine them in the books.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job of portraying the horrors of the warp in these models. I just didn't think it was something GW would do, and I'm glad they are. It's metal as shit.
Yeah.
And then we have a new Demon Prince model.
He looks awesome. And he has heads for each fucking chaos thing that you want to follow.
So here's my first thought.
Yeah,
I
I'm
haven't
gonna kill this dog. So sorry people that are watching it. I keep getting up. I have to watch the damn dog in here, and he keeps eating something under the bed.
Okay. So I have a Demon Prince model for the Thousand Suns. So when this was newly released, I'm like, that kind of sucks. I had to go buy a whole new model. But I'm okay with it. It's not like they released a new Rubric Marine where I'd have to go buy 6 fucking boxes of them and repaint them, and that would probably end my entire Warhammer career. It's that they're releasing one brand new model. It looks cooler. It's an upgrade of the previous edition. And when they first announced it, they announced it with the undivided head, and I thought that was the dumbest looking shit I've ever seen. Like the face looks so dumb, and then it showed
I hate the Zinch one. I think the one, like the bird looking one.
I think it looks cool.
I think it looks retarded.
There are so many there's a lot of customizations. My favorite box that Warhammer sells is the Exalted Sorcerer box for the Thousand Suns, because you're buying a character, but you can build 3. It's a $40 box. You build 3 characters, and they have a shitload of customization. So this box is all about customization, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like the model. It's like every once in a while, Games Workshop gives like the modeling office like go to town, and this is what happens when that happens.
Yeah, I will say like everything they've been releasing like lately have looked cool.
They have looked good, but there are some negatives I've seen to a lot of things. Like when the Orcs release came out, everything was monopose. So like you couldn't build like Orcs you could equip them with axes or guns, and the box came with 20 Orcs. Well, you could only build 10 with axes and 10 with guns. That's it. Like you couldn't build 20 with guns. That shit's bullshit. And that's when I feel like Games Workshop goes to the modeling people and say, hey, we need to make more money off of orc players. So let's force them to buy 2 boxes to get 1 squad of choppers. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Or hey, we'll sell this auxiliary pack of weapons. Like, oh cool. Why didn't it come in my fucking box?
Exactly. So I'm thinking like with this Demon Prince, it's cool because you can have it for each of the Chaos Gods. Lots of customization. I really enjoy it. Fan. So there's that. And then of course we get the best fucking announcement of all
fucking time. World Eaters.
Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped.
Fuck the Eldar I was thinking about getting. I'm just gonna wait for the World Eaters.
I was thinking, I was like, is Dylan gonna put off the Eldar? Because I would, because that shit looks awesome.
Yeah, they do.
That shit looks so cool. I'm so pumped. I'm gonna give it a month. In a month, I guarantee you they're gonna announce it.
Angron?
They're gonna announce it. I fucking hope so. If they don't, that'd be such a miss. They're getting their own codex. Every other space or Trader Marine codex has had their own Primarch.
Yeah, I mean they released Mortarion, they released Magnus. They have to do Angron.
That looks so. I'm very excited for that. Like, I'm not gonna play them. I have no desire to play the World Eaters. I'm gonna play against them, and I'm very pumped to see how they bring them to life on the tabletop because they're such a cool army. I'd love to get that feeling of like the last thing I want to do in the game of Warhammer 40K is to get in melee combat with the World Eaters. And I'm very excited to like feel that feeling of dread when it happens to me. And I'm like, there's no way I'm getting out of this. I'm just gonna die. So excited for that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I really hope they do like ridiculous shit because the World Eaters are ridiculous.
I was thinking of some cool rules they could do, like Angron's model. I was thinking of something like every wound he's lost, he gets an extra attack.
Yeah, like something stupid. Or like I don't know. Like I want them to like charge, and if the charge like messes up, they have to do something stupid.
Yeah, I just hope it's like a fun army that plays like World Eaters. So, well, we spent a decent amount of time talking about Warhammer Fest,
Yeah, it's
but
cool.
it was
This
cool.
stuff
It was
only
a cool.
happens.
Yeah.
I don't know, quarterly. I think at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, about quarterly. There's a new thing like Adepticon or Warhammer Fest or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You ready?
Damnation of Pythos.
Yeah. So last time you said you liked the book. Do you still hold that opinion?
I like it a lot less, but I think it's okay.
I think it's fine. I don't think this is terrible.
Mm-mm.
Like it's not as bad as Outcast Dead.
No.
Not as bad as Nemesis.
Nope.
I don't think it's as bad as Descent of Angels.
Nope. Not as bad as Mechanicum.
I didn't even finish Angel Exterminatus.
One of these days we'll get you back in there. Here's the thing. This is how the book goes, in my opinion. I think it starts off pretty weak. Okay. And by the time they return to Pythos, that whole story is fucking crazy. Like it gets really interesting. And then it ends very mediocre, in my opinion. I think the ending is very mediocre.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing I hate the most about it is I feel like it was like paced very weird.
It was the beginning. It almost felt like two books.
Yeah,
because you have this story of them first finding Pythos and the story of what they do with Pythos, and then the story of them returning to Pythos. And after that, it's a whole different book.
Yeah. So just like going into it, they get to Pythos. First thing they do is they see a fucking herbivore that's actually now a carnivore. They kill it. The Raven Guard's just like, man, that's weird. I don't like that.
Shit, well,
Everyone's
supposed
like,
to do that.
yeah, exactly. And then everyone else is like, man, you're just being weird. It's fine. Like, bro, that thing tried to eat us. That thing's supposed to eat leaves.
Yeah.
And then
it eats each other. Like they're a herd animal, and they're like eating each other and stuff. Whenever one of their like kind dies next to them, they'll just start eating them.
Yeah, they're nuts. And then like they finally they kill the thing, and then they get attacked by a tree monster.
A moss monster.
Moss monster, whatever. It's all the same shit.
Whatever. And after they beat that, they go and find this obelisk. So the whole point of coming to Pythos was these Iron Warriors are like lost after Isfahan, and their leader Atticus is like, there is our what are they called? Not the navigator, the astropath.
Yeah.
She has a strong signal from this planet, and it's telling her that it's going to help like us figure out where to go. So they go and find this obelisk that basically allows the astropath to see future events and future locations of enemy vessels in space. Huge benefit.
Yeah, she's strangely OP.
Yes. Although also not OP.
Yeah, I don't know. She was very confusing to me. Honestly, their whole storyline was kind of confusing.
Yes. So the whole first part of the book is like they get there, they find that there's an Emperor's Children fleet somewhere, and it's going to arrive at this point in time and do exactly these things. So Atticus uses that information to lay a trap.
Yeah, and honestly, this should have just been cut out of the book because it meant nothing to the story at all.
The first, really almost half of the book, with all this going on, like they successfully destroy the Emperor's Children. The trap in the space battle was very well written. Like it's interesting. Like it was a fun like little thing, but it had absolutely nothing to do with the story. I wish space battles were written like this one.
Yeah, it was actually I actually like what they did to the ship. So after they killed most of the people
using mines.
Yeah. Well, no, not even that. Like when they sent the first ship into the asteroid.
Yeah.
And blew it up. And then the other ones came into a fucking minefield.
Yeah. So they knew like they were going to jump out of this warp point. So they laid a bunch of mines right where the ships would go. As soon as they jumped out, two of the ships basically blew up. And they sent a landing. It was really cool because they knew exactly where the ships were going to go, the orientation they were going to be in, so they were able to set a really cool trap. And then they had a landing party go into the Emperor's Children's ship, and the Emperor's Children's ship was like super fucking interesting.
Yeah, it was fucked up. And I like how like they're like looking at like, man, this is fucked up.
This is strange. Like, so basically all of the carpet and everything was human flesh and
Yeah, it was
organs.
I mean, they shot it as a missile. They did a sanguineous for it. Just sent it into an asteroid.
Yeah, and they blew up the ship by sending it into an asteroid. They went into the control panel, like, go towards asteroid, break, and then they left.
Yeah, and like I thought it was interesting too, because like several of them were like still in battle, and Atticus is like, let's just bounce. They're all gonna fucking die in a minute. Just get out of here.
Let's bail. Yeah. So
Which is the smartest Iron Hand thing we've ever seen.
Yeah, I think. So then the second part of the book happens, and this is when the book, in my opinion, gets really interesting. Like,
yeah, I agree.
From this point on, it gets really interesting, and I want to dive into the mindset of a lot of the people before this part, because in my opinion, basically what happens is like the first half of this book is to establish, and I think they took way too long to do it and did way too much to do it, the mindset of the characters. And then the second half of this book is about how that leads to downfalls and deaths and all this stuff. And then the last like 10 pages are like, all right, fuck all that, throw it away. Let's just kill some heroic death people kind of thing. It was really fucking stupid the way they did it.
It's
But
a exact same back to like my pacing issue that I had. Like, I honestly think the book would be better if it was paced better.
yeah. And I think the ending really ruined things for me, and I'll explain why when I get there. But we have some characters. In my opinion, there are 5, 6. There's 8 big characters in this book, 8 important characters. So I know we walked through these in the preview, but I want to bring them back up again. We have Atticus, who's the captain, the person in charge, the Iron Hand. He's like full robot.
Yeah. No, man, he has a normal eyeball.
A normal
Just one.
eyeball. The rest of him is robot.
Yeah, and man, they bring that up constantly.
And he is very much so always like flesh is weak, flesh is weak, flesh is weak. And he has a distrust for psychers. He is just very like to the money, like this is the way things go. I'll kill you if you're messed up, that kind of thing. Like he is flesh is weak, must be destroyed, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you have Galba, who is kind of the main character. So Galba is kind of the Loken character in this book. He's the Iron Hand that looks at all the flaws of the rest of the Iron Hands and tends to like say, okay, I know that's wrong, I know that's right. However, it leads him to be a very indecisive character. Like he is constantly at war in his mind with like what's good, what's bad, what's the right thing to do, who's right, who's wrong, because he's always standing in this middle neutral ground.
Yeah, the whole thing too of like the Iron Warrior or Iron Hands being all about, oh well, we are machines, so we must think very binary, is kind of dumb because it leads to a lot of just them doing dumb shit.
Sometimes, yeah.
However, I mean, it is strategically, as far as battle, it seems to work pretty well.
Yeah.
Unless you're Ferris Manus.
Paris.
Then it doesn't go well for you.
We have another character named Doris. So Doris is another captain at the same level as Galba. And he is just like, I think Doris is a very common sense person.
Yes.
He is going to listen to his captain. He's very weary, very similar to his captain, but he's not fucking crazy. And I like Doris a lot because his whole mindset is like throughout this book there's all kinds of crazy shit going on, and he's the character that's just like, how are we gonna beat them? How are we gonna win the battle? And one thing that kind of going back to Atticus, and we'll talk about this as we go on later, like he's obsessed with finding an enemy.
He really is, and
Like he needs
it's
to
weird.
find an enemy. Yeah, I think that's interesting. So then we move on to the other two Stardies who are not a part of the Iron Hands, and that is Kadim, who is a salamander. And as we know about salamanders,
How do they die?
he dies. We all know this, but he's very like human focused. He wants to protect humans. That's a salamander thing.
And how do they always die though?
Sacrificing themselves.
Yeah, goddamn right they do.
And then you have Taro, who's a Raven Guard. I'm assuming the P is silent.
Oh man, I've been calling Patero the whole time.
Patero, yeah. So he is a Raven Guard, and their big thing is they're very secretive. You know, they're very like, and he displays that very much. He doesn't talk very often. He's very quiet. He gives his like opinion on things to Kadim whenever they're alone. And he's also a psyker, and he chooses to keep that from people. Chooses to keep that from Atticus.
This is also a story point I want to hit on as we get in later, because I'm like, wait a minute, use the astropath, who's probably a lot weaker than you are.
Yeah. And then we have a couple people that are important. You have Airfarine, who is the astropath. She's the one that saw the pylon like calling to her, so she's leading the 10th Legion. The 10th Legion really value her, and she's using this object to like basically show locations of enemies in space. And then you have Kineshel, who is like another main character. I'd say he's the human. He's the serf to Galba. He's in charge of like cleaning his equipment and doing various other things. And he's having this religious battle in his mind throughout this book because the other serf is Tanura, who is part of the cult, the Lecto Divinicus. Mm-hmm. And throughout this book, especially in the latter half, there's a lot of demon shit that goes on.
Yeah, there is.
So there's a lot of like battling back and forth between faiths. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and walk us through how this book ends and what happens in the end?
You want to just go straight to the end?
Yeah, it's a really tough book. Like because basically, obviously we know they come back to Pythos after that mission. There's a bunch of cultists there. They're humans.
Yeah, well, they get back, and then what's her face? Arafin is like, there's like a lot of ships coming. Like, oh shit, is it Emperor's Children? She's like, I don't think so. And then it's just like a bunch of just broken down pieces of shit ships, and they're like, what the fuck? And like this part was really cool to me because like these ships are like landing like literally just like not making it because they're just so shitty, and they're like, what is happening right now?
Yeah,
these people are fucking nuts.
It seems like they don't have like a desire for their life.
Yeah, and then they like check it out, and like the people are just like singing. They're getting attacked by dinosaurs, and they're like still singing. And like, what the fuck is happening right now?
It seems a lot like, and this is obviously first thing in my mind, these people are fucking crazy. It screamed cultist immediately to me. But they were okay with getting basically devoured by these dinosaurs. And of course, who wants to go save them?
Of course, it has to be the salamander Kadim.
I actually love this.
Atticus was like, why? Let them just die. They're killing themselves. Like after they landed, the ones that did land, they burned their ships so they couldn't leave. So he's like, this is a suicide mission for them. Fuck these guys. This isn't our problem. Like, we have other things that we're here to do.
Yeah. And one thing I like about this is during the argument about whether or not they should go, Kadim's basically just like, okay, well, I'm going to go. And it's just one of these things where it's like, oh, are you not going to go? Are you scared of the big dinosaurs? And it's the moment where they're like, he's going to go because he knows that we can't if they do. And then Galb was like, is he right? He's like, of course they're right. We can't just like not go now that they're going.
You know, see, that was like something that didn't make sense to me because there's like 5 salamanders and like 10 Raven Guard. The rest are all Iron Hands. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna continue on with our mission. If you guys want to deal with these fucking weirdos, you go for it.
The Iron Hands, being robotic, still have a huge thing for honor. And they're like, well, we can't let them have it all, kind of thing. So they go, save the people, bring them back to their base camp.
Yeah, they fucking build them a base. They full on build it. And then, like, immediately, they build fucking, they call them lodges. But you know they're actually fucking, like, churches.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. So they invite the serf, Cannibal, or something like that.
The one that's struggling with it. So kind of backtrack a little bit. The serfs are having a really hard time on Pythos because every night that they
some nightmares.
Yeah, every night they go to sleep, they're getting really insane nightmares. 2 serfs every night are killing themselves. Exactly 2, no matter how many people they send to watch them.
One of them fucking like rips their jaw off their head. I'm like, what the fuck? That was an interesting part.
One of them sees that like this serf sees another one die, but his eyes have mouths and they're screaming. Just like a nightmare fueled shit, and kind of pushes this serf to lean towards the Lectone of Atticus for comfort.
Yeah.
And then he starts having these relationships like you were talking about with the people.
Yeah, there's one woman, her name's like Sri Bahis or something like that. She is like the second in command of the cultists. Which when she was first introduced, he was like, oh, she's beautiful. Which I immediately thought is weird. I don't know why. But I just assumed it was going to be like she was going to be some psycho bitch, which
I imagine her as an old woman for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, because isn't Tanara? She's an old woman.
Mm-hmm.
But she's the most badass of the serfs, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
But she invites Cannibal to the Marley, shut up. To the church. And it's like some weird shit with light is going on. So there's like no like weathering stuff in this chapel, and it all just like has all these lights that like go into the center, and it makes them like he just like feels like all these emotions as he like touches the lights.
He's like hallucinating and getting really high from the lights. Yeah, it's very weird. And throughout this time, like we were saying, the serfs were dying. So Atticus is searching for whatever is killing the serfs, and a hole opens up in the grounds where the like people were staying, not the serfs, but like the
cultists.
Cultists, they are cultists. We know this. So he starts investigating this underground like temple, and they get attacked by maggots, and it's just this whole crazy thing of this like planet attacking them, and he's like searching for this thing while at the same time you have people like Galba and the salamander like this seems like some witchcraft stuff. And Atticus is like, no, if it can attack us, we can attack them. Like he's obsessed with finding this. And he starts doing all these missions and excavations of what's underneath him to try and kill this thing. And you can see he's going crazy. And I love this part of the book because it was like all of these people with all their different ideas and emotions and things were like really struggling with the warp and like trying to figure, like you have Atticus like desperately searching. Almost seems like you're watching a movie, like a cult movie.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what this book is like.
And these people are just losing their fucking minds. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is awesome. Finally, they decide to just bomb the entire place. But the cultists refuse to leave the bomb site.
Yeah, they fucking... And they're warned. Kadim's having a fucking meltdown about this. It's like we can't do this. Like they're humans still there. And it's like, look, man, I've given them like 10 warnings.
And if
they stay there, they should die.
Yeah, and I'm like a big Salamander fan. And at this point, like obviously what Kadim is saying is making sense. But up to at this point, I'm like Atticus is making sense. Like he told them, like, listen, like we have to go because we need to blow this place up.
Yeah, fucking. It's like Trainwreck. It's like, what do you think of the asshole Iron Hand? I was like, I don't know. I thought he actually made sense most of the time.
He is an asshole. Like he is definitely because I guess we need to restate this because we talked about this in the preview. Like he fully blames the Salamanders and the Raven Guard for their failure at Isfan, which is
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, agreed. It's definitely not their fault.
It is one of those things where it's like that is an asshole thing of him. This book is so interesting to me because it's very similar to what's the other one off that I really
Fury
liked,
of the Abyss,
the Battle for the Abyss,
Battle for the
where
Abyss. God damn
each
it.
character has their own flaws. Like there's really not a Loken, even though like the
Like
one
Galba's
guy
close.
Gal was close. Like you're still like each of these people are kind of fucked up. There's definitely no Torgadon. There is no character that's like, oh, this guy's figured it out. Even Kadeem is like some shit he does gets him in a situation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I mean, he even at one point admits he fucked up.
Exactly. So the cultists decide to stay, and then they try to bomb the place.
And what's weird too is like the cultists, what they did is they circled the place,
The
and
bombing
then
site.
yeah, then they bomb it. Everything clears out. All the cultists are still alive, and they're like, "Well, that's weird." And then their ship gets fucking obliterated from. It was almost just like whatever was under the ground absorbed it, shot it back up, blew up their fucking ship, and they're like, "Well, fuck." This was definitely not supposed to happen. And they're really just weirded out. Like, how the hell are these cultists alive? How did this thing just fucking blow up our ship?
Yeah.
Like, well, we're gonna go explore that problem now.
They get back to the site and they find that there's a massive hole in the center.
Yeah,
And
shit,
the
that's a new
cultists
one.
cultists are still alive. So Atticus is like, all right, here's the plan. And up until this point, the book is perfect. The book is perfect up till a certain point to my mind. He's like, here's the plan. Darius, you're gonna go back to base and defend the astropath. Okay. I'm gonna lead a pack down with the Raven Guard to the down this hole, and we're gonna figure out what's down there because there's an enemy down there. There's an enemy. I know there's an enemy. There's an enemy. I'm gonna kill it. So Atticus is all about. And he says, okay, next I want the Surf, the Salamander, and Galba to stay up here and figure out what the fuck is up with these people because they're clearly fucked up. Okay.
These guys should all be fucking dead.
You get this next scene that is so fucking good. Galba takes the Surf into the church where they use the slaughtering of their own people, the slaughtering of the priest to summon a demon.
Yeah, which was really fucking cool. Also, what type of demon was this?
I don't know. Demons are described very weirdly. I imagine it a little bit like a what are the corn ones called? Bloodthirster?
See, I
Not a
also
bloodthirster.
thought it would have been one of the corn ones, but they kept talking about like a serpent and shit. So I was like, it shouldn't be Slanesh because that doesn't make any sense. There's nothing in like excess going on.
Well, you have to understand too that not all demons are necessarily aligned with one of the chaos gods.
I guess that's true.
Some of them are just fucking crazy. So a fight breaks out between the demon and the space marines, and Galba dies. Up until this exact point in the book, when Galba dies, I'm like, this is perfect. Everything after it's trash, in my opinion.
I think it's just fine. Like,
I'll explain why, but let's
okay,
get through what happens, and I'll give you my alternate ending. I have an alternate ending for this
oh,
book.
okay. So the demons just fucking wrecking havoc up top. Atticus is down in this fucking weapon thing, and a warp hole opens up, and a bunch of fucking like warp spawns start crawling out, and like, oh shit, what the fuck? So they're just blasting away warp creatures as they're coming in, and so
Well,
finally he's like, we gotta
he sends the
bounce.
Raven Guard back up, right?
Yes, he's like, hey man, I've seen like explosions up there. You guys go, we'll handle this. And he's like, okay, we can't fucking handle this anymore. We got to go back up. And Pataro's getting his ass beat by a fucking demon, which makes sense.
Well, they have the whole thing. The reason the demons came in the beginning, like the reason the demons came from under there, is like the obelisk that the astropath was talking to, like came out of the
So this
ground.
thing
And
turned into like the fucking Eye of Sauron. Like I don't know what the fuck happened there. And it also shot a laser.
yeah, so it gets like very biblical really quick. Like all kinds of these weird interactions with things around them start to occur. The sacrifices, the bloodbaths that are taking place, because during this time too, after the demon gets summoned, um, the cultists basically offer themselves up to the dinosaurs, and like thousands and thousands of these like dinosaurs come out and just start eating the cultists, which there's like a few thousand of them, and they start eating each other. It's such a cool fucking scene. It was literally one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
Watching
it's
all
fucking
this,
crazy.
it was very brutal, but it gets very biblical. Like all the stuff that happens in the ritual as that happens to open the demons, and the Iron Hands have to escape, like you were saying.
Yeah, and then fucking Atticus gets out. He finds Galba fucking beheaded and destroyed like the middle of the fucking like battlefield. He's like,
But
what
the
the fuck?
Salamander's still alive for some reason.
Yeah, he's missing like an arm, but he's like, oh, it's me, Kadim. How's it going? And Medale, who's the demon, like looks at him like, Atticus, welcome to the fucking party. Go
Welcome
fight
to
him.
hell in the cell.
Boom. Here's some demons. And like I'm pretty sure Pataro's still like fighting like pterodactyls at this time. Like I don't even know what the fuck. Like honestly, the whole point of Kadim and Pataro at this point is just useless because they are just there.
Yes, I agree with that. They're just there. Basically, what occurs is they develop this plan that they're going to get the astropath back to this obelisk thing. Really weird psychic mumbo jumbo storyline stuff that should never have even have happened, in my opinion. She was like, I'm just gonna, if you let me touch the obelisk again, I can communicate with it and do something, yada yada.
Yeah, which again, they kept telling us Pataro's a psyker,
Mhm.
and he didn't do anything. Like your back is against the wall. Why would
Yeah.
you not?
And so they basically, the rest of it is the two serfs, um, Darius, um, the astropath, Kadim, the Raven Guard, and Atticus going on a suicide mission to get to this obelisk, fighting demons and dinosaurs and all kinds of crazy shit. And they all die on their way there, but the astropath makes it there. What does she actually do at the obelisk?
Sends a fucking message to the Imperium.
And like it's a one-word message. We don't know what that word
I'm
is.
assuming demon.
Means nothing. Like
No.
literally means nothing. Now, I get the point that the author was trying to convey. Like this might be happening everywhere and it means nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it is pointless. Now, the only person that survives is that serf, the one that was struggling with his religion, Canshell, and he gets put on. The demon takes him captive, basically, and is like bear witness to this, which is badass.
Yeah. He also like he recreates the Iron Hands ship with like fucking bones.
Badass.
Which reminds me of like the castle that's made in Fear to Tread.
Yes. This is my problem with the book. They had this crazy fucking cultist storyline going on, and what was
Also, we didn't even say this. The cultists are from Davin.
yeah, they're Davin cultists. I mean, at this point in time, all cultists are from Davin, right? That's kind of how it all ends up.
Yeah, probably.
So the problem I have with this book, you have this crazy cultist storyline with this really interesting, like you have Atticus super distrusting Galba because Galba is having, because of his conflicting sides between him and Kadim and trying to understand what right from wrong is and the serfs, he's having a lot of interference from the demon, from the warp side. And it was super smart, right? Like it was saying shit to him, but it also said some shit to them that saved their lives. So um Atticus like starts, oh, maybe you should trust this, you know?
But
And
at the same
Atticus,
time, Atticus is like, "Are you a fucking psyker?" I was like,
yes, Atticus
"No,
isn't
man,
trusting.
I'm not a fucking psyker."
Exactly. And you have Kadeem is the one responsible for the cultists being there, and he's protecting them the whole time. But like they're fucking evil. So it's like obviously the Salamander's trusting too much. And like Pataro or Taro, whatever you want to say, Patero, he is hiding the fact that he has a weapon that is super useful against the shit they're facing. And it goes through just so many different like problems that these people are facing. And the reason that I have an issue with this book is because at the very end, it's like, okay, take all the decisions they made, take all of the problems they have and the benefits they have, throw it away. Let's just all of them do a heroic sacrifice. This would have been a better ending to the book, in my opinion. Get all the way to the point where Madal gets summoned and he kills Gabal. Is his name Gabal? Galba. I like that. The reason I like that is because Galba has been the one to kind of push decisions so far because he's so in between and on the fence of things that his own indecision, it shows that he got played by the demon. That moment when Galba's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I fucked up. Like this is my fault. And then he gets killed by the demon. Like that is perfect for me.
Well, it was also cool when Kadeem meets up with Atticus and he's like, well, we all made some mistakes here.
See, what I think should have happened to Kadeem, what I think would have just been like a much better ending for Kadeem is if at that point he gets pulled apart limb by limb from the cultists. Like they surround him, there's hundreds of them, they just start killing him. Like I would have loved to have seen that. Just like that poetic justice of Kadeem dying, being surrounded by the people that he tried to save from and that's when he like, I fucked up. You know, you have what this should have been in the end is like all these people like, I got played. And what I would like to see is down in the hole. This is what I would like to have seen. I think they should have pushed the flesh is weak a little bit more. I know it sounds pathetic, but with like Atticus. Push the flesh is weak a little bit more. Make him just become obsessed with it. He becomes obsessed with needing to find a physical enemy. It's like a problem he has in this book, and I love that problem.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't kill the warp. I can kill something physical. I need it. What I would have liked to have seen, they make it down to the bottom of this place. And because of some happenstance that's occurring there, is revealed, because it has to happen, that Taro is a psyker. And Atticus is dissented into his sanity enough to believe that he is the one responsible for the things that are occurring because he is a psyker and he is the enemy that he sought after. He's like, oh, you've been playing this the whole time. This mistrust that he has between the Salamanders and the Raven Guard and all of this, like it kind of comes to this culmination of him, a desire that he has to find a physical opponent. And I would like to him have killed Taro. And just interesting. And then like the demons being summoned and him just losing his shit, Atticus, as he makes his way back to the surface, right? What I would like to, if you remember in the beginning of the book, and a scene that I really liked that never came to fruition, the astropath is very wary about going to Pythos because the obelisk is telling her, like, oh, come to me and I'll reveal all these secrets to you. And I promise you all the wisdom of everything going on. And she's like, that's not a good idea. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But she went anyway. What I would have liked to have seen is the astropath actually have been corrupted by the warp this whole time for promise of like power and wisdom kind of thing.
Yeah, I also would have liked to see. It doesn't make sense to me, like it made it sound like her goal at the end was to like shut off the tunnel, or like I honestly was gonna be really pissed off if she somehow killed the fucking demon. Like I honestly thought that's where it was gonna go, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
This is what I would have preferred. I would have preferred her make it there to the obelisk because Atticus and Doris and the couple of serfs, right?
Yeah.
Atticus makes it back up after killing Taro. Atticus and they make it to the obelisk. And what she's really after is the power the obelisk has to offer her. Yeah. She's not trying to send a message to the Imperium. She's been after that this whole time.
Also, I don't understand what a message to the Imperium does anyway.
Exactly. So
the Imperium's pretty fucking busy.
Exactly. So I would have liked to see her actually either ascend into some demonhood or some weird war fuckery.
Hey, dog, farm. What the hell are you doing? Keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay. Anyway, I would have liked to have seen her ascend into some sort of demonhood or some sort of evil thing where it's revealed that she is the corruption, and she kills the serfs or the religious serf, not Cancel yet, because I love what happened to Cancel. And I would like to have seen probably the demon or her kill Doris. And I would like to have seen the demon probably died to her, like as a way of like, she is now the problem. She is the big thing. And what I would have loved the ending to be is for her to offer the same thing the demon did to Atticus, where it's like, oh, flesh is weak. Connect yourself to the Omnissiah permanently, like become a part of the Omnissiah, where at the end, Atticus becomes fully robotic and is integrated into the ship that the demons built. He makes that choice because he loses his mind so fucking much that is just where he ends up. I would have loved to have seen like a crazy downfall of Atticus. I think that would have been cool as shit. And what happened to Cancel should have happened to Cancel. That was awesome. That's just my opinion of it. It's one ending that I think would have been better because I think it's truly grim dark instead of this like everyone must have a heroic last stand. I think that ruined it for me a little bit personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's constantly like the same story over and over again.
Exactly, because it's like if you're gonna, this is the problem I have with it, right? This book is like, hey, let's make a story that has nothing to do with the heresy. That's great. I'm fine with that, and I understand that's why people don't like it. I'm okay with that though. But don't make it to where it's the exact same as every book in the Horus Heresy. Don't make it to where everyone has to have a rogue class stand. Like, make it grim dark, make it fucking scary and crazy, and do some crazy fucked up shit with it.
Yeah, I think you were right in the last episode when we talked about it. I think people rate this so poorly because it doesn't really relate to the heresy, and I think it's also because it's been a string of not great books.
Yeah, it's like I'm okay with it not being related. I'm okay with
Same.
it. Some people aren't. But if you're not gonna make it related to the heresy, make it different.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think they kind of failed in this book to make, and it's literally the last 10 pages. They could have made it really grim dark. They could have made it like everyone gets fucked up in their own way and dies in some horrific manner instead of everyone needs to make an heroic sacrifice and recognize their faults. Like that's what makes it a kindergarten book, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's my rant. I'm thinking about rewriting it.
We'll let GW know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, David, you had it a great he wrote a good book. 85% of it is fucking phenomenal. But it's time to let the big dogs play.
Yes, that's it.
Oh man.
Personal enjoyment and Points of the Heresy.
Points of Heresy is a 0. You don't
Yep,
you
agreed.
can skip this book entirely. Enjoyment, like a 6.
I put it 5.
5, yeah. Like it's
fine.
good. The ending was just so lame compared to the rest of the book, and the beginning was a trot, like a slug to get through.
Yeah.
I think like it could have been done better, but it was. I don't understand the bad rep that this book gets at all.
Same. Yeah, I definitely don't think it's worth the reputation that it has.
Yeah, there's books out there in the heresy that are plenty worse.
Yep, agreed.
Speaking of those books, we're about to enter a bunch of short story books.
Yes. Yes, we are. I mean, I don't know. There's some really good short stories out there. There's also some really shitty ones. So hopefully we got some decent ones coming.
The real issue with short story books is it's a combination of them all. Like, as soon as you pick up a short story book, you're like, I'm going to have a good time and a really bad time at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since there's been one where it's like every book's been good.
I'm reading the White Scars one right now, and I'm like, why is this a short story?
Oh no.
Like, this is not anything that ever needed to be talked about ever. It's
Oh
kind of like,
no.
you remember when we read Deliverance Lost,
Yeah.
and there was like 2 short stories tagged to the beginning of Deliverance Lost.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is for the Book of
Oh
Scars.
no.
I'm like, cool, but why? Like, I was fine with it. Like, Scars was okay, but they were like, it's almost like you wrote more because it's the same writer. He wrote more to Scars, and they're like, you need to cut that off. So we made the beginning a short story for no reason. Like, it was okay. And it's all about the relationship between the 2 captains, the one from Terra and the one from their planet. I'm like, okay.
That kind of sucks, but hey, I don't know. I haven't started it yet. I just finished Damnation today.
Like an hour ago.
Nah, man, it was 4 hours ago.
I love like the comments. Reading through the mock episode, they really hit spot on.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Steps angry orchard.
I have to disagree. So Gavin, how'd you like this book? I'm about halfway through. I haven't quite finished it, but I'll go ahead and review it.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Get on the Discord, guys. It's a lot of fun. There's wacky shit that happens.
I'm like so concerned constantly. Like, I'm almost scared to open the Discord because I'm like, I hope no one is like verbally cussing each other out because they hate each other sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's like, oh man, our lines being crossed. I can't really tell.
Exactly. But it's a lot of fun, and at this point, it's just like, well, Daniel will figure it out.
Yep, he's already queer. He's got it.
No, it's I have a blast. I love looking at the stuff that they do. The name changing has been killing me recently. Everyone's changing their names.
Yeah, it was really funny when they did our mock episode because Varela was like, "What the fuck is happening?" From Horus Hour, and I think he actually thought it was one of us.
Yeah, I remember that because I was like rolling through the conversation, and Bro was like, "What are you talking about?" It's not me. He was like having a conversation with me, but it wasn't me. Oh man. Yeah, that was a weird one. And then like Train Wreck, of course, changes his name to Gavin's mom, and everyone has a freaking heyday with that.
Yeah, they did.
I felt like I said in the chat, I felt like I've unlocked something in Train Wreck, and now he's like really embracing. He's embracing his lost side, his lost sexual side, I think.
Yeah, that's what happens when you join the Heresy Lodge.
It's like, I can be an independent mother of 3. Oh man.
All right. Yeah. Anything else?
No, nothing else. I'd love to give an update on competitiveness, but there's nothing to talk about because I haven't been to a damn tournament in a while. But this month I've got a couple I'm going to.
Nice. What's the name of the next book?
Legacies of Betrayal.
Cool. So next week we're here to preview Legacies of Betrayal. As always, get on the Discord. It's pinned to our Twitter at the top at Heresy Lodge. If you feel like contributing to the podcast, go ahead. We have tips enabled on the Twitter. You can always email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave comments, all the things. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Anything else you want to add on there?
No, we'll try to preview Legacies of Betrayal. There's like 13 short stories.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Does that have to be a 3-parter?
It's it'll probably be a 3-parter.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Cool. Well, that's it for this episode, guys. That is Damnation of Pythos, and it's okay. And all you people that shit on it so bad,
okay.
Maybe reread it because it's honestly not as bad as you think it is.
Which is coming from us, and we hate everything apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it, guys. You have a good one.